back to North of the Broad. Well, Leadership Beaufort is celebrating its 40th anniversary, and here to talk to us about it all is Connie Hipp, who is the program director, and she's been with them for 38 years. So you really were there at the beginning, and so congratulations on this anniversary, first of all.
Well, thank you. We're very excited about it.
Yeah.
I was in the second class, so I knew everybody from the first class too. I tell everybody I was selected back when they were still desperate for people, and I said I would help for a couple of years, and there we go.
But okay, a couple of years, 38 years later.
Listen, I've made some wonderful friends, and it's been, I see the value of it in our community, so it's worth the time.
Absolutely. Well, I know you've been on some of other shows on our channel too, but talk to us a little bit about exactly what Leadership Beaufort is for those that haven't heard about it.
Leadership Beaufort is a program from the Beaufort Chamber of Commerce, and it is designed to, I think a lot of people don't realize how easy it is to be involved in a community, and so introducing them to the movers and the shakers and the people that are in the different organizations and also their classmates is a good way to learn what's out there. Yeah. And to figure out, yes, I could be part of that, and I don't have to wait for someone to ask me. I can recognize it and do it. Each month is a different subject. It's 9 months long, so it starts out with the history and the culture of our area, and then the economy and the environment and public services and government and education. So each month is a different subject. Yeah. It's just a day-long session, but you meet a lot of people that way.
Sure.
And we try to focus, some community leadership programs, they want you to be under 40 or something like that. Our age range is 3 years ago, it was 23 to 77.
Wow.
And that was in a class of 36. So I think you interact with the demographics of our community.
Right.
But I want to brag too, because Leadership Hilton Head has been going on. They were created in 1985 when our program was. So I see that all over our community, our greater community, there's a lot of great things happening with graduates of the program.
Absolutely. Well, let's go back a little bit to the history and cultural part, because we are obviously at the Pat Conroy Literary Center here, and he is a great part of the history and culture here in Beaufort. And you have some stories. You've met Pat. He was even you had him in your phone, so that's some street cred right there. I like that.
Pat actually, when he first got out of the Citadel, taught at Beaufort High School, and that was my senior year. And he taught me psychology in the fall, and I took his first Black History class in the spring. And so I got to know him then, and then as a friend for many years after that. And he was such a jewel, but it's been great to see how Pat's influence has grown. Right. And I was talking to Jonathan earlier about how I love how much it's going out to the younger, the teenagers and such in our community, and maybe fostering the love of reading and being out there with others with that. And I think that interaction is exactly what Pat had in mind. So I think that's great.
I think it's great too. So let's go back to the program a little bit. Who is, I know you said there's no age limit, but how do you kind of choose the class each year, or how do they get involved each year?
Well, first of all, we open up for applications in April and May. Okay. And I always just make the deadline the Friday before Memorial Day, then nobody needs to try to remember what the date is, that kind of thing. And then we interview everybody that applies. And we've been lucky that over the years, somebody that's gone through it says, hey, you really need to look at this. So the word spreads good that way. We choose all kinds. We try to reflect the demographics of our community, but we don't have a template. It's not like, well, we've got to have so many men, so many women, so things like that. We've been very lucky that the word spreads well enough for people wanting to know more that it comes that way. And there's 4 of us that are selection panel, and we're the only ones that know how many applications we have. Okay. But we always, we choose a class. This year we've got 32 in the class. We went up to 36 at one point, and that doesn't seem like a big difference, but that's a lot more in a small community like this for logistics and such. Yeah. But we've been very lucky. We've had all ages, people that have been here all their lives, and people that have been here just, maybe even a few months with that. We actually had last year the commanding officer of the air station in the class.
Wow.
Which I was amazed he would have that kind of time. But he said, everybody told me if I want to know anything about this community, that's a good way to do it.
You're the place to be.
Absolutely. And the thing is that I like the idea that they're interacting even with the active duty military and that kind of thing
Of course.
with that. So I think it's important to be out there. But we have people that have been through this program that say, I've been riding by that building for years. I never knew what was inside of it. So I love to be the gift that takes them out to see what's out there, because every year I learned something too. So
Of
I think
course.
it's worth it to do it. And I love seeing how they get involved afterwards. And it's not necessarily that they run for office or something, even though we do have those too. Maybe I see them volunteering somewhere that they wouldn't have known to even know about before. And I think even during the pandemic especially, I had people reach out and say, because of things I'd learned in leadership, I knew sometimes how to tell people what to do or where to go to ask more questions or get more help.
That's
So I felt like it was worth it.
fantastic. I have to cut you off
I'm
there.
sorry.
No,
I'm-
that's okay. It was
My
worth it because
apologies.
you have so much great information for us. I really appreciate you sharing today.
sorry.
And of course,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for letting me also mention that, because I think it's great that both programs. It's not like we're competing or something. We're just making our community better. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Well, thank you
Appreciate
again
it.
for what you're doing in the community.
Well,
We
thank you.
appreciate it. And there's a lot more to come on North of the Broad. Don't go away.